Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Thursday at 11:30 a.m., October 22nd. Every day that goes by is a new crazy story, but that's the beauty of it, and that's the point, and that's the point of life. It's always a new story. There's always some new hot stuff going on. And today's story is crazy because yesterday was crazy. And it's just going to keep getting crazier, ladies and gentlemen, because we got the election coming up, we got the drug addict economy coming off stimulus. It's just crazy times, and yesterday was a big day, and I'm going to get into this right after we introduce today's stream. The sentiment change, because this is the similar sentiment change I had in September when we went risk off on crypto. So today's topic is yesterday's $1,000 Bitcoin and money printing stimulus. What does it all mean? We are sponsored by Change Angel, non-custodial swap exchange. If you want to swap, use the Angel. Stop depositing on Binance and going through trades and figuring out how to use the order book and limit orders. You're not trading. Nobody's trading. You guys are swapping. Deposit. And you get the coin you want. There's no deposit. Skip the deposits. Let's bring it over to the main screen and let's get this party started. Who's in the house? Good morning, everyone. Kel's here. Always a pleasure. Love it. Small world, my brother. Stelios. Always a pleasure. Yes. Iran. Staff. Barry. I got the crew. So yesterday we had a fat candle rip. Let's pull up the Bitcoin chart. And let's see. Let's pop it over on the daily. So this is there's a huge candle. Look at this beauty. Boop, 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 boop. I mean, it's up here. It is a $1,300 candle rip. I mean, clearly it was. I mean, literally a candle body close of close to $900. It's a little bit higher than this down here. But I'm looking on the 30, so check this out. Oh, this thing's about to rip. This thing's about to rip, boys and girls. I mean, look at this trend. This is a heck of a trend. That's cool because, to see such high upward price, look at this price movement. Look at that trend line. That's a beautiful trend line right there. This thing's going to rip. I don't see how this sim triangle doesn't break to the upside. In fact, I think it already has. I draw this pretty much right here. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit. So it already did break to the upside on the shorter time frames. And oh, let's see what it does. You want to see stuff like this. This is what you want to see. You want to see it break to the upside. You want to see it come back down. Then bloop. There you go. Bloop, bloop. This is so going to break. This is going to be nice. This is going to be a good day, ladies and gentlemen. James is in the house. Everyone pat yourself on the back for yesterday's move. Hold on. Hold up. Yeah. So yesterday's move is I know not everybody was in the appropriate portfolio positioning. You go on crypto Twitter and you see folks still fucking around with this Uniswap garbage. Some new hot gem that's a fork of a branch of a whatever. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing? All right, I understand some folks are new and some folks haven't been around since 2016, 2017, 2015, 2014. I know folks are new, but no. There isn't going to be some miraculous asset that's a new crypto gem that's going to change everything for you. No, unless you're maybe old school, like Crypto Messiah, who knows basically how to just get in, get out, get profits, you're going to get your money taken from you because someone else is going to just basically take it from you. That's what these crypto gems are all about. That's what they're designed to do. It's not a project that has been in development that has heart and soul. It's a project designed to separate you from your money. And there's a lot of people that are really good at playing those types of assets. They're, a little bit of FOMO, and they get 100%. You get a return of 5 Ethereum into 10 Ethereum, 1 Ethereum into 2 Ethereum. I don't. These assets are micro cap, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million. Nobody's throwing around. You can't put $100,000 into an asset that has $25,000 market cap. You can't do it. So nobody's really making big bucks off this stuff. It's not possible. You buy $100,000 worth of a $25,000 market cap asset, you get a sway. The price is going to go up 400%. It's not going to happen. So there's no winning. If you are just a new entrant to the crypto space and you're looking for that new Uniswap crypto gem, you are not going to win. And yesterday is the most important thing anyone can really learn, hopefully, is risk off right now. Now is risk off. And this comes from sentiment, this comes from years of experience, and this comes from an observation that we had in the market, basically the start of September, where the DeFi irrational exuberance came to a halt. It stopped. You could smell it in the market. I could smell it. I could see it just looking at the top charts. Now, note that we've seen an uptick in action, especially with reserve rights and PayPal announcement. But there's some nice action. It's really good to see synthetics up 10.8. Ren's obviously my baby. Quant, I'm not in quant. I'm not in reserve rights, and that's not because they're not awesome assets. It's because I can't spread too thin. You can't own everything you want to own. I'm not gambling on this stuff. I don't know anything about Nest, Celsius. I can't earn yield in Cell, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be accumulating Cell, which just is up hundreds. I think I saw this at 100 million earlier this year. Absolutely incredible. So Ave, good to see 8%. It's about time, but look at that, down 29%. Brutal, brutal. And Ren down 10%. Synthetics down 7%. So things have been beaten up, but Ethereum's doing nice, up 9.1% for the week. So this is even though we were seeing some nice numbers, this does not mean start doing what we were doing in July and August. In July and August, as I've said a couple times on the stream, was just throw 100 grand against the wall and you're going to come out with 120 in about a day. That was crazy. So now you have to either be very, very picky, and I would advocate strongly against being picky and trying to be meticulous about trades, and just have a well-structured portfolio that's decidedly risk off. Because Bitcoin is about to rip. Where to go? Where to go? Where'd that beauty go? Look at this thing. Oh, goodness gracious. So that was your goal, your mission, if you choose to accept it between May, June, July, and August, was to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you could. Now, kudos to everyone that was able to do that. Everyone was able to get a couple 100% off the DeFi insanity. Now, bear in mind, I don't say that as like, taking money from the DeFi insanity. There were some really awesome projects that deserve to appreciate as much as they did. But unfortunately, this is irrational exuberance, and there was just blow off tops all over the place. I mean, Ave's blow off top. It was up like thousands of percent. Insanity. Who's in the stream? What am I missing? Nathan's in the house. Always a pleasure. Morgan and Felipe. Yes, so now Ledger has swapped. My man. This is good stuff. And so does MetaMask. In the house, Sam. Pleasure. Do you believe the reward from... yes. So it's diluted. So the rewards from locking curve are constantly being diluted. So in order to... So this is... I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole because this is a bit of a sophisticated topic, but you constantly have to be buying curve to maintain your earnings because you're always going to be diluted. The curve is inflationary or relatively inflationary. There is a max supply, but the emissions are large. So that means there's constantly more curve that can be locked into VECRV. And as more VECRV is locked, your relative proportional ownership of the total amount of VECRV is being diluted. So you are losing your proportional ownership of the daily earnings. So if you want to play curve, you really should have like a liquidity position. So this has been getting hammered, and I think I don't know what to do. This is just horrible, and these pools are getting all of the damn CRV. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to think of this. It's complicated. So you really need to keep buying CRV and to maintain your VCRV proportional ownership. But My CRV emissions are dwindling at this point. So complex consideration on my plate is I could take this WPTC and go over to MakerDAO and grab DAI, of which I could get into this and get 100% on my CRV and 5%. Actually, this isn't that bad, but the problem is now when I want to extract that DAI, here, check it out. So if I deposit DAI, I have to over collateralize my CDP, so I'll only be able to put in like 15 chip. I'm going to get 0.5% bonus. But then if you go to withdrawal, I'm going to get hammered 0.5%. And I don't know what the hell is USDN. And here's the problem, and unfortunately, Curve folks, I don't trust Tether at all. I don't trust it at all. And then because I just think you just could have a nightmare with Tether. And frankly, 3Pool has Tether. So that means all these meta pools have Tether. So that leaves me really with just compound DAI, which is actually interesting. So this was it. The security rate on MakerDAO is 4% for WBTC. Okay, so the APY is covering that pretty much, and we're getting about 57% on Curve. So actually, this is getting to be probably what I should be doing. I just don't want to be involved with Tether. And I know this number will come down. It's always irrational and it's temporary. So I don't want to get into a position, just have to get out of it. Just have to get out of it and incur the trading fees. So I think maybe this is getting considerable. I hate these Tether. It drives me nuts. I don't trust it at all. I simply don't trust it. Who's in the house? Sam's in the house. Stelios. I hope I answered that. I'm happy to talk more about it. I have a fair position in Curve, and I believe that it's an absolute incredible investment. It's just complicated. Pellets, always a pleasure. David, always a pleasure. Stuff. Any new insight on Cosmos trend? Let's pull up Cosmos. So Cosmos, the macro narrative has a huge future. It's deeply embedded in many regards into the BSN, which is the national initiative of China to actually build the cryptocurrency infrastructure. Man, this Tesla chart looks awesome. To go down. It's incredible. This thing's going to get crushed. And I can't wait to own the company. I just can't wait to own that company. Um, Atom BTC. So Atom still looks good. As long as it's above this green line. This is a long-term trend dating back to June of last year. As long as it's above this green line, I'm quite bullish. But either way, I'm not going to be liquidating my position. I have a long-term position. It has inflationary emissions, like 20% on your Cosmos, I believe. It's a relatively large inflation, but there's going to the speculative bet is that there's huge demand for an asset that's deeply embedded in Chinese national blockchain infrastructure, which is incredible. Vis-a-vis the IrisNet, which because it's Cosmos, IrisNet has the Stargate, it has the IBC, inter-blockchain communication, so it's all interoperable. That's the whole point of Cosmos and Polkadot. It's all interoperable, and that's the whole point of Ren and why it's so hot, because that brings interoperable blockchain ecosystems, Cosmos and Polkadot, to other blockchain platforms. Ethereum is not an ecosystem, but it's a platform. So you need the interoperability there, and Ren facilitates that, and so on and so forth. That's why it's so damn hot. That's why it's so damn hot, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible what's going on. Pellet says, better to establish a position now in BTC or continue averaging for some months, keeping capital in case of a March-like crash. I don't know. In the end, portfolio management is extremely complicated, and there's always risks, which means, listen, if you buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin now and there's a March-like crash, and it goes down to, and your $1,000 is worth $500, that means you could have bought twice as much BTC for your money. But in the end, what I like to consider is the perspective of things, which means in either regard, you own BTC, which means you don't own dollars. And for me, that's the psychological thing that's my goal. As long as I don't own dollars, I'm content. And that, which means the question is what to own. And that means you got to own pretty much interesting things other than dollars, which means God's Unchained cards, NFTs, which means gold, which means gold miners, silver, silver miners. I actually reduced, I trimmed equities. I had a bunch of domestic miners that were up like a couple 100%, like 6, 7 different stocks that were up a couple 100%, and I just trimmed them. I don't trust the equities market right now. I sensed a very big shift yesterday with the Bitcoin running huge, and 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 so I was here. Let's look at the DXY. That's what I'm thinking of. So yesterday, Bitcoin made big rips, and we got to go to a shorter time frame. Mm, Shorter time frame? No, 15 minutes. October 19th. I mean, this is real. Here's the 20th. 20th? 22nd. Where's the 22nd? Right about here. So, look, a 15-minute 200 EMA, it looks like there's resistance. So, I don't, what I'm getting at is I'm starting to see Bitcoin was clearly not correlated with equities yesterday. Equities were down yesterday, and Bitcoin was through the roof. What I'm seeing here is a bit of a ceiling on the dollar, and the dollar for the last year, this entire 2020, has been inversely correlated to the world. Dollar down, everything up. So let's see. So Bitcoin, the dollar seems to have hit a ceiling on the 15 minute. Let's go down to the 3 min. I mean, there is some price appreciation on the 3 min. No, it's up to 93 almost. Let's take a look at the news for a second. I just want to see the headlines. So they're flat. The sentiment shift that I'm kind of getting at between yesterday and today is not necessarily contradictory to the sentiment shift that I believe, or believe I'm beginning to see, um, is that it's all stimulus. And the market is not responding to the stimulus talk. So previously, just the headline of stimulus talk would send the market flying. And I don't see that right now. Caution the car may be far from it. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. It could be. The market is not operating on fundamentals. We've talked about this, and it's really just the headline of stimulus. Absolutely incredible. And it's not. It's like a drug addict that's no longer responding to the same stimulus talk, and we're going to see potential withdrawal symptoms. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I don't want anything to do with this, and I want to minimize my my exposure to assets that have no, I don't see having a rational price action. And I see much more meaningful behavior in the crypto space. And I'm able to associate the price action with legitimate reasons why there should be price action, why attention should be paid, why there's a reason that Bitcoin has a meaningful place in the global financial system. And all that shit makes sense. For United Airlines to go up, the amount of air traffic has been destroyed. So it doesn't make any sense. Now, is it fair that the air traffic has been destroyed? No. It has nothing to do with fair. That's the whole fucking point. This is capitalism. Do you want capitalism? Do you want socialism? So I feel like there's it's like the whole country has multiple personality disorder. They're like, we're capitalists, we hate socialism, we hate communism, and then they're like, we want to bail out. You're a hypocrite. No, dum dum. If you want to bail out, you're a fucking socialist. So now, don't get me wrong. There's the humanitarian crisis, and that's heartbreaking. But if you want the government and the taxpayers to bail you out and start spending trillions of dollars printing it out of thin air, then truthfully, it's called socialism. That's not capitalism. And that has humanitarian implications. So the country will end up doing what it does, humanitarian considerations included, socialism included, and that's just the bottom line. Uh, uh, Heirloom, always a pleasure. Stelios, ooh, 2 BTC or 1 BTC plus 32 Ethereum. So I got 32 Ethereum. I got also a couple of Ethereum locked aside in the Plasm lock drop, because that's cool. But I do got 32 Ethereum stash set aside. So I'm more bullish towards, I'm biased towards Bitcoin because it just fits the global financial macro narrative as a pristine treasury asset, pristine collateral, as Raul says. I agree with him, 110%. But Ethereum is money. Now, um, minimum viable for a node is 32. So I think that's a good deal. I think that's a good deal. In the end, that's your choice, my man. Don't take my I'm not telling you one or the other. Clearly, Bitcoin could outperform the shit out of Ethereum. And if Bitcoin outperforms and you allocate the 32 Ethereum, that's impermanent loss, so to speak, like the pools. But Ethereum may outperform because it's the global supercomputer and it's basically the backbone of an entire financial system. So me, I've leaned heavily towards Bitcoin. I believe that every corporation on the planet, including central banks, will own it as a treasury asset to retain value. It's far superior to gold. And that's crazy. It's crazy. It changes everything. Absolutely changes everything. It really does. Sam's in the house. Hey man, what's the point? I wish you would add another dark node. I would not. I have my position. I've not. I've had my positions. I do not think I will be able to buy a dark node at the price where I bought my dark nodes. Guys, I got my dark nodes at 6 cents. Six cents per ren. No. We're at 35 cents. 34 cents today. Yeah, we're not getting Ren at 6 cents again. Fine. Fine. If Ren goes to 6 cents, I'll buy another Dark Node. I'm just saying, guys. Oh, it's good stuff. I'm so hot on these on Ren and what it does is incredibly powerful. Hi, little girl. Sorry, guys. And my little booger. The dichotomy of the capitalist welfare state, right? Right? It's crazy. The capitalist welfare state, isn't that mind blowing? We're capitalists. We're fiscally conservative Republicans. Bail us out. We're broke and we can't pay rent. Ah! The dichotomy, personality disorder. It's literally crazy. Can you briefly explain the magic of F32? That's just the minimum viable amount for an Ethereum node. Now, if you want to run the node yourself, cool, but Rocket Pool is setting up some stuff, as Chico Crypto talks about. So that's the dealio with 32 Ethereum. Now, bear in mind, um, I don't know I believe Ethereum is going to be Ethereum 2.0 is going to be deflationary to some degree because of transaction fees will get burned possibly. So how Ethereum 2.0 is going to play out is extremely speculative. It's not here. But that is a number, 32. That is a number, just a number. Doesn't mean anything for the potential price of Ethereum. Ethereum could be potentially worth a lot, or it could potentially not appreciate as much as Bitcoin, which means Bitcoin outperforms Ethereum. So it's speculative which will outperform the other. Am I bullish on both? Hell yeah. Am I personally more bullish on Bitcoin? Yes. Does that mean the contrary cannot occur? Yes. Then it could be the other way. It could be Ethereum that outperforms Bitcoin. So there's no magic bullet. There's no absolutes about choices and courses of action and directions to take with portfolio management and balance. But all we have is these questions that we could ask ourselves and we could ask our friends and family and professionals and other people. And the most important person to become a professional is you. And stop relying on other people for answers. So the whole point of this channel is not for me to tell you things, but is for you to ask questions, for me to ask questions, and for the dialogue that we have back and forth between your questions and my questions, that dialogue and how we digest and process these questions to help in expanding our ideas and our thoughts around these very, very difficult topics that make a big difference in our lives. So keep that thought juices going, boys and girls, and you just have to keep going. You have to, if you're stuck and you ask a question, but don't ask courses of action. Don't ask what to do. You need to make that decision, and believe me, that day that you have a win because of a decision you made is one of the most satisfying days you'll have. Um, Sam says, got dark? No, but I want another. Oh, hell yeah. Sam said, 12 cents. Cool. I mean, you're up for a huge amount of money. 12 cents. We're at 30, so you're up almost 200%. Ooh, you got to win, my man. That's nice. I know some people that got in even dirt cheap, like 2 cents, 4 cents, crazy numbers. Because it's been around for a couple years, but that was so speculative. It's hard to get in so early in these projects. I don't like taking the risk of highly speculative. I like to wait for it to go up. I'd rather buy something that's up 40% than I have a confirmation that they're going to have bullish action. Anyway, uh, see, note equals another job, heirloom. Good point. That's a good point. Now that's interesting, and that's basically the goal. That's my goal with yield and APY between Celsius, between BlockFi, between Curve, between Ren, between some liquidity pools, is to produce yield. And my goal is to produce enough yield that I have monthly income equivalent to my current jobs. That's the goal. That's our goal. That's the goal that I encourage for you guys. So there's very few things that I will say to you folks that like recommendations, but I confidently recommend that as a financial goal. You don't want to just make one-time money. You need recurring income, a recurring revenue stream. That I will always recommend to you guys. Igor says Bitcoin is extremely centralized. Why nobody likes to speak about that? So yeah, it's very centralized to the large pools. Um, it's true. And in this regard, Digibyte is far superior with regard to how decentralized the mining is. Um, but Bitcoin is just the first blockchain. So we make decisions, or at least I encourage folks, and I myself encourage myself to make decisions based on what is, not what we want to be, not what we want it to be, or not what we hope things to be eventually. We make decisions based on what is today. And as of right now, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is king. Bitcoin was the first blockchain. Bitcoin is dominant. Bitcoin runs the market. Bitcoin is a pristine collateral, a perfect treasury asset for central banks and corporations. Bitcoin rules. And that means the other narratives fall to the wayside of importance. They have to be taken into consideration. Just because Digibyte is far superior technologically to Bitcoin doesn't mean it may ever disrupt Bitcoin. It is that's just is what it is. Love my Digibyte. It's not going to be a treasury collateral asset in the short term as compared to Bitcoin. That the narrative, the global financial macro narrative that Bitcoin participates in or has a position in, it's not going to happen. Well, operate on reality, operate on today, don't operate on just pure speculation. Are you seeing irrational exuberance coming to the, not right now, too early, pellets, too early, need more time. This is not irrational exuberance. Irrational exuberance is when you get to $250,000, is when you go at 10x. You know, Bitcoin went from $200 to 1,000 to 20,000. When you get to 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, a half a million, sure, then you're getting into irrational exuberance. But what's fascinating is we're probably going to settle around the 100,000, a quarter million after a blow off top to a million. You know, that's the type of numbers that I see. I mean, they're just going to print. They're either going to print trillions of dollars, countless trillions of dollars, or well, and it's really and at this point, or the CBDCs come flying out of every central bank around the world. validating this technology, and then everyone realizes this technology is basically what the current countries are basing the future of the financial systems on. And then they're like, whoa, I want to own this. So I don't see any direction where there's that Bitcoin is not as doesn't appreciate significantly, especially all things considered that's going on countries around the world financially. Yes, Richard, well said. Digibyte has its own path, has a wonderful path, has an incredible path, has a righteous path, has a decentralized path. That's it. That's awesome. It doesn't have to have another asset's path, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to force a path onto it. It has critical mass decentralization. It's going to exist in perpetuity. Nothing's making it go away. It's going to be here. It's on a journey. You either participate in that journey or you don't. And that's the whole point of many of these assets. You either have a piece of the action or you don't. Now, for instance, look, RSR missed out on that action. I'd love to participate in that journey. I can't. I can't spread too thin. I can't spread too thin. And I'm comfortable with my portfolio balance, and I'm comfortable missing out on what I'm seeing with the RSR price action. Now, I've talked about RSR several times a couple weeks ago, and I was looking for it to break from a falling wedge, and it did. Oh, did it! Absolutely incredible. Um, what am I missing? We're gonna drop the stream in a couple minutes, but I want to get through the comments. F is an IRA, so yeah, I want to speculate, me personally, on what the 32 will be significance will be. Is what kind of returns is an Ethereum node going to produce? Maybe it's going to be an incredible source of revenue. You won't know unless you have it, and that's the speculation. That's the bet. It's all a bet. Adam says I should have listened to you know about shifting your profits into Bitcoin to protect profit. Yeah, I know. Listen, I lost even more. So in September, I was prepared for the September risk off, and I'm up about 150% denominated in Bitcoin. Now, believe me, I watched at one point $200,000 go bye bye. In the I should have been more. I could have protected more. So bear in mind, I'm back from like 2016, 2017 days, my thought process, and I was prepared, and I was the story back then in 2017 was how do you take your gains? You take them in Bitcoin. You stack them. How do you, or you people talking about them in dollars? Hell no, I'm not talking about my gains in dollars. I'm done with dollars. I'm done. I'm talking about my gains in crypto, in Bitcoin denominated. That's how you win. That's how you win. So I could have protected more, but I didn't. And am I satisfied with how much I protected? Yeah. I could have done better. We could have always done better. Could have always done better. So don't be disappointed. Just know for next time. Know for next time where Kyber's up 1,000%, and you should be selling on the way up. You should be selling on the way up. You should be taking profits. 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. And because at some point you wish you did take profits. I'm just saying, guys. Excited to buy dips. Hell yeah. I just donated 430 Digibyte. Very nice. I love the Digibyte donations. I'm excited as well, Heirloom. What do you know about EGW Capital, Raul Kumar? Nothing. Keep an eye on it. Nothing. I will not be taking bets like that. But I briefly remember the name and things that he's interested in. I mean, there's huge potential for Digibyte. And I know I have yet to see something that's overwhelmingly exciting. The closest thing that's overwhelmingly exciting for Digibyte, I'm sorry, is Anthem ID. Jan at Anthem ID, brilliant what he built, absolutely brilliant. And there's no reason Anthem ID can't take on LastPass and the other password managers. The only difference is it's just the marketing, because it's a brilliant product what he built. Mockbog says, oh my God, yeah, I know. There you go, Adam, 100% RSR. Now it could keep going, and then the whole point is you probably want to start selling 1% here, 1% here, 1% here. That's just the recommendation. Because listen, Not getting gains, like missing out. If it goes another 100% and you sold some, is not the same as losing money. Missing gains, missing out on gains is not the same as losing money. And you're still locked into those Bitcoin profits, and that's what counts. So it's very counterintuitive and counter emotional and counter greedy to want to sell something that's so bullish, it's on its way up. It looks so good. It looks so good until it doesn't, guys. So that sell on the way up. So I sell on the way up and sell on the way down. And that's how I did what I did this DeFi season. Oh my God, I'm gonna have such a horrible tax bill. It makes me want to cry. Ibakmak, I have lost too, though. Yes, yes. What a good entry point for RSR. Anyone who bought 2 weeks ago, a month ago, got a ridiculously awesome entry point. Mach, we pay to learn. Goddamn right we do. And it's a little painful, but it's good learning experience. And that means the next time you're going to do that much better. Because when you start seeing shit go 1,000%, and you look, when you know now, because I've told you, you go to CoinGecko, you sort by 24 hours, when you start seeing 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 50%, come on, guys, you'll know the signs when we got irrational exuberance. This is not it. This is not it. And I pulled up the Wayback Machine for July and August. You know, don't make me do it again. I'll do it again. We'll pull up the Wayback Machine for July and August. It was 20%, 50% down the board. It was the most incredible thing I haven't seen since 2017. Hindsight 2020, baby. Damn right. But now we know. Bancor's hot, H. I love Bancor. They're the original AAMM from 2017. I'm not going to put a big chunk in right now. I'm decidedly risk off. Bitcoin's, for me, is the gamble. That thing's going to rip. But Bancor, I think I have a little position, 0.25%, a half a percent of portfolio. Stake it. Can't hurt, especially if it's tiny enough. Although I am tempted to throw that just money into Gods Unchained. I love those NFTs. It's fun playing. Reminds me of Magic the Gathering. Now you see, Adam, $200, and then it'll go up 100%. And you're like, oh, I wish I put in $5,000. What? 1 cent. Yeah, yeah. Okay, 12:07, ladies and gentlemen, October 22nd. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Always a pleasure. Smack those thumbs up. Get people to subscribe. That makes me happy. Make me happy. Tell your friends, your family, Twitter. Get on the Twitter and social media. Tell people to subscribe. You all have a wonderful afternoon, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Peace.